language barrier. Did you intend for this story to be told on stage or screen? I am asking because I can easily see it go either way. Well, thank you. Most of the time I write for theater, and it's interesting because I always get asked if it was for film or TV, and then if I brought it to theater after. But this piece and most of my work is from theater. I grew up in theater. And my mentor, Alba Holmes, may she rest in peace, when we work in class, Shakespeare and Lorca and all these beautiful poetry materials, she will always tell us not to go for the poetry, not to go for the rhythm, not to go for the reciting. She will always say, go for the emotion. That's how it's going to sound good, the emotion. That's how you're going to connect, your intention, your action. So I'm not worried that the poetry will get lost because it's not meant to be a recital. It's more about the emotion that I'm trying to convey, and that's what I don't want it to be lost. We used to do this exercise in class where we would get this text from Shakespeare, and then we will play different actions and intentions that totally contradicted the piece as an exercise, precisely for this, because we will definitely go into like, oh, you know, the elegance of it, and not the deep emotion. So that's not a concern I have. Tell us more as to why you incorporated prayer throughout your piece. I grew up in church. I know prayer works. I've seen miracles happen. People get healed. And people call it different things. You could call it, you know, you're praying to God, you're praying to the universe, you're praying to this, that, or the other. Whatever it is that you believe, we all seem to have a connection. And it has become to like, oh, let's just pray on it. Pray for this, pray for that. But we need to match our words. Our actions need to match our words. And we cannot be hypocritical. There's a lot of people talking about they defend life and they do all of these things to guilt us into believing that pro-choice and pro-life are the same thing. But these kids are alive and they're human. So if we are not as proactive, then we're being hypocritical. When we thought of the vision on stage, we were going to jump from space to space through the movement, and I was actually going to hire a person to come and do the movement for us. But because we ended up doing the recording, everything changed. So I had to adjust everything to it. And yes, when you do monologues, when you do performing pieces, when you do a solo piece, movement is so important. And I also believe as a director, the story, just like in class, we'll learn in different ways. We'll learn by looking, by listening, and by practicing. So I wanted to give them the visual. I always try to give the audience the visual where if they don't understand the language, they'll be able to get it just of how it was staged. And it is important and it is challenging, and we'll see how it looks on film.